Well, well, well then. Does that smell like Arsenal blowing the Premier League title? Adam Hunt, Troy Deeney and Mike Grella here in the Golazo Network studio after the Gunners lost 2-1 at home to Bournemouth. And we can have a quick look at the table before we get into discussing this. 9 points the gap now between Arsenal and Manchester City in the title race. City have 2 games in hand, including their game at Chelsea tomorrow. Troy, Arsenal still top. But surely even the most confident, overly confident Arsenal fans would admit they're a bit nervous now.
Yeah, I've spoken to a few of them today, as you've seen via FaceTime. I said it a few weeks ago, I feel like the momentum could shift, all based on the Carabao Cup. And it's not that Arsenal, are in this situation where they're bottling. It's just they had so many competitions to try and get through. And obviously injuries are a normal part of the game as well. But when you look at the performances, especially over the last 3 or 4 games, they haven't been great. And if you want to look over the course of a season, we've been talking about a winning style. They're just winning, so it covers the cracks. But today, it felt like, from the start, it felt like Bournemouth were better prepared, better ready, better motivated. Where I just feel like Arsenal when you have that moment to be in front, you're playing first, bang, go lay down the marker to everyone, get the job done. I was expecting a 60-minute onslaught of Arsenal, 2-3 goals up. Then you take your Gyokeres, Declan Rice, take all your best players off and get ready for the Champions League. And it wasn't that. Yeah, Bournemouth were fantastic. Today
was an opportunity for Arsenal, as Troy says, playing first at the weekend, to make a huge statement in the title race to City. In the end, they made a statement, but not what they wanted.
Yeah, we obviously we have the pleasure of covering Champions League, and we have Nigel the other day who was saying that Raya might be the MVP, the most important player of Arsenal. And I just thought that was so strange. I know you did too, because it's like, well, how can a team that a month ago was going to win the quadruple, how can we be talking about the goalkeeper being the best player? It's a little bit strange when you talk about the top team in the world, right? And if you put yourself in a position, as Arsenal have, to win the Premier League, to be one of the favorites in the Champions League, because also the side that they got drawn to, the conversation is not usually about the goalkeeper being the best piece. It's usually about how the football that you play. Yeah. And when you watch just today's game, but we could rewind to the Man City game where we were there, and the Carabao Cup final, the way they played that game. We could rewind to the Southampton game. Yeah. And we could rewind just now to the game we saw against Bournemouth. It's a team that plays for a set piece. It's a team that wants to catch you on the counterattack. Yeah. It's just a very strange, because when you think about Real Madrid, you think about Barcelona, you think about Manchester City, you think about the top teams in the world, Inter, Bayern. Very rare do they play only on the counterattack. Very rare do they wait for a set piece. Very rare do they play so negative in so many moments. And Arsenal have done that, and they've been second best to Man City, second best to Southampton, second best, by the way, to Sporting the other day. Yeah. Sporting left that game thinking, I was not so bad. It's supposed to be one of the best teams in the world. That was not so bad. So that's the worry for me. That's the issue. The performances haven't been there. And I think what happens is when you come to the beginning of the season, it's, hey, boys, we're going to play this way. This is our style. This is our identity. Yeah. The results will follow. Yeah. Now it's the opposite. Now they go into a game. They don't know who they are. They don't know how they want to play. And they just think, we just need to play for the result. We just need the result. And when you do that, you start to see what happened. Today, Bournemouth just played their game. Yeah. They didn't really care about the result, it looked like to me. Yeah. And they were free-flowing, and they were expansive, and they played, and they put energy into the game, and so many good moments they created. But Arsenal, for me, went in there like all cagey, like, all right, we're just going to see what happens today. We just need to get the result.
To that point, though, I do, we've all joked and banter aside, I don't remember many chances that Arsenal created. I don't remember many openings. I don't remember them open up. Bournemouth are a very expansive team. They come at you. They've got wingers. They've got 4-2-3-1. They try and go high, wide, and fast as quickly as possible. There was so many opportunities on the counter-attack where Arsenal kind of got to the edge of the 18-yard box, slowed it all the way down, and like you say, played to try and kick it off somebody to get a set piece. And I do agree with Grella to that point. When you're heavily reliant on set pieces, when you're heavily reliant on mistakes from others to get over the line, well, what happens if they don't? What are you doing that creates and puts them in those difficult moments? And I do wonder now, not only for the fan base, but they got Champions League in the week. Sporting are a good team, but all the pressure before this is on Arsenal anyway. Now the fan base have seen them lose 3 and 4. They'd only lost 3 in the previous 49 games, I believe. So when you look at it in that perspective, Arsenal fans a few weeks ago were like, oh, this is great, we're going to win, we don't care what anyone says. Spin it. Now they've lost 3 of the last 4. Massive game against Sporting, where you're expected to win. But Sporting have already shown that they can be good on the road, and they've already shown that they can hurt you and impact you. So the nervous energy is going to be there. Now, do you think we have to win that game? But actually, we've got Man City in a few days' time afterwards. This is a huge, monumental week for Arsenal, for Arteta, and for the fan base. All jokes aside, it could all go in a week. It could all go in a week.
And that social comment we had just coming in a second ago, the talk of the quadruple has disappeared very, very quickly. And keep those comments coming in, by the way. We will react to them here in the studio. It is interesting, though, earlier on in the season, I think we did a little chat about this, that it looked like Arsenal had learned their lesson from previous seasons because they were winning those games that in previous seasons, when they have blown the title, that they lost. I remember when they played Fulham at Craven Cottage around the turn of the year. It was a terrible performance. It didn't look great, but they did manage to win the game. They kept themselves going. It looked like they had learned how to win ugly, to grind.
The one thing that has been labelled at this team from the start of the season was in those big games, they didn't go to win. I think back to Anfield, Liverpool, Szoboszlai scores at 1-0. It was there for Arsenal to go and kick on. The Man City game. And a lot of the Arsenal fans that I know were complaining that in those games, it's been too safe. It's been played with the handbrake on. I just wonder now, have they got to a point where it's like, as long as we don't lose, it's okay? Because we got that gap and that. And have
they're playing for the worst outcome rather than the best outcome.
Have they left the handbrake on too long, Grella?
Yeah, I think what happens is it's just the nature of football. First of all, we love this game and we have the honor of covering this game because it's always, what have you done for me lately? It doesn't matter what you did. It's always you're as good as your last game. It's always, hey, now as a new 90 minutes, you have to perform. It's not like, oh, well, defensively we got away with the last one, so today we could do the same thing. I think when you go into games, and the most shocking for me was when we were there at Wembley in the Carabao Cup, the way they approached that game, like, what an opportunity to show, hey, we're here. Hey, this is our season. Hey, we're going to put our stamp on this game. Instead, it was quite the opposite. It's like, hold on, let's stay in our shell. I swear to God, jokes aside, every time I watch them, I say, it feels like I'm watching an Italian team from 10 years ago. Because it's so slow and it's back and it's sideways. And it's like, oh, let's see if we can get them on the counter. And if we can't, let's just go back into our shape. That allows teams that are way more inferior to be like, well, we're in the game.
I think it's a great comparison, Grella, to the Italian teams, the great Italian teams. But those teams were still mentally strong, weren't they? They played defensive football. They played for the 1-0 win. But you always felt like they were titans mentally. I don't necessarily get that feeling with Arsenal.
I just think that in the Premier League and in the Champions League at the highest level, and that's why maybe we haven't seen an Italian team win it in so long. That's why Italian football is a little bit in disarray at the moment, is because when you approach a game that way with such, I don't want to say negativity, but you understand what I mean.
Caution
it's like
first.
On your back foot, caution first, safety first. Let's just get it there. When you approach a game like that, when you're Arsenal, when you've got attacking options, when you've got that sort of...
That was going to be my next
I think
point.
you're just opening Pandora's box. And with this loss today, by the way, from a results standpoint and from a table standpoint, Man City are sitting there now saying, we control our own destiny. They do. Yeah. They've opened Pandora. With the loss today, the math says that now Man City, if they win out, by math alone, the goal difference will take place because they have 2 games in hand. They play Arsenal after Chelsea, right, at home. So they've opened up a box now where they almost only have control what the outcome is. And you would imagine, like we're speaking about now, if Arsenal go to Manchester City and say, hey, listen, let's just keep everything in front of us. Let's just slow the game down. It's going to be a repeat of the Carabao Cup final where Man City
Look at that from Brad's. He wants him out. Pathetic. Sack him tonight. It's done. They are very, very much here. Troy, Arsenal under Arteta, they first blew the title, what was it, 4 seasons ago? I think it was that 22-23 season. They lost it by 2 points, probably should have won it. You could make, obviously they're not going to sack him, but you could make the argument that he's learnt nothing in 4 seasons.
Oh, no. Look, I'm not... I could go down the route of rage bait here, which I think the company wants me to do, or I could go down the sensible route. So I'm going to do both to keep everyone happy. They're not going to sack him because he has moved that club astronomically forward from where it was. They're always in contention now, and they're being spoke about as one of the best teams in world football, and rightly so. But this is why Arsenal fans I'll be looking at. That's why I love you, and this is why you love me. Because when it's right and when they're winning, they're hammering me. They can't wait to get down on Troy. Now, sack him. He's top of the league. He's top of the league. They're in the Champions League. Now it's sack him, get rid of him. Who are you going to bring in? Anyone?
I don't think.
No, it's daft. But hey, Arsenal fans, I love it as well. So I want to ask you this question, Arsenal fans. Remember before they didn't have any strikers. Today, know the strikers they played? Gyokeres, remember he's the best. I didn't know what I was talking about. He's the best. Havertz, remember he's the best. I know what I'm talking about. And Jesus, all played today. All of them played. So
Gyokeres scored.
He scored a penalty, no problem. But I also said he would score in these games. It's the big games that's going to matter. Has he scored against Liverpool yet?
Well, they keep on coming.
Master,
master speed. #Arteta out, please. So maybe they are calling for him to be.
But this is what happens. They all get frustrated.
This is a bit more constructive from Daniel09. Arsenal have a bad 6 in Zubimendi, and they don't have a main man leading their attack.
A bad 6 in Zubimendi. Literally a week ago, Nigel Reo-Coker plays the position, played it unbelievable level.
One of the best players in Europe.
Talking about he's one of the best players in Europe. And also, Arsenal fans 2-3 weeks ago said he's the signing of the season, most underrated signing.
OK, Grell,
what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah, but the past is the past. What's happened has happened. If you were Arsenal, if you were Arteta, right now, what do you do to get this done, win the title?
It's such a fine line between, OK, let's go for games, and let's be pragmatic.
Yeah.
And for the beginning of the season, they had that right. They had that right where, they were defensive. They were great on set pieces. They've got the set piece coach that they, and
they've got murals of him. They've got paintings on the wall. Don't worry.
And that's all great. And that's awesome. And now that's become, as pressure gets tighter, that's become, hey, let's be a little more. It's already safe, by the way, when they were successful throughout the entire season, right? And let's not take anything away from them. They're in a great position still to do something in the Champions League. They got the 1-0 against Sporting. And also, they still, in their respect, control their own destiny for the Premier League. But when you take that, and it's a already safe system and a very pragmatic system based on set pieces and defensive moments, and then now it's all of a sudden the pressure comes and you make it even more safe, which is what we've seen in the biggest moments. It's like, imagine how they feel. 90 minutes goes by, they lose the Carabao Cup final. 90 minutes goes by, they're second best to Southampton, the FA Cup's gone. 90 minutes go by, average game against Sporting. I wonder how the group feels. They must feel like we just let that opportunity slip. We didn't take advantage of those moments. So I think it's been way too safe. And if I'm Arsenal moving forward, to answer your question, I just take that bar and I move it back the other way and I say, how fast can we play forward? Can we play forward faster? Can we play a higher intensity?
I think when you go back, moments like Declan Rice after games, you remember his video, I can't remember the game where he was like, happens every time. Like they missed opportunity. I think City had lost earlier on. And then they drew the game. And he's like, happens all the time because he knows these are key moments. But let's talk to the mental side of it from a player's point of view. You start to believe the hype after a little while. We're talking about, let's use Declan as a perfect example. He's one of the best holding midfield, all-round midfielder in world football. Probably in the top 5. Start to hear that maybe he's going to win a Ballon d'Or. Or maybe this year he wins 3 or 4 trophies and they'll win the World Cup. Then you start talking about Saka. Oh, he's just got a brand new contract and it's all this. You start to believe, hey, this is our season. This is happening. The one thing mentally that happens with Arsenal and their Arsenal fan base is because they've been so close over the last 4 years, it gets nervy. It gets, we want it. And you get tight. As a player, you get tight because you want it so bad that you end up doing less by trying to do more.
And to that point, I think it's a brilliant point you make. Also, when you look back relatively recently to some of those title-winning sides that had that mentality, they also had big leaders in the dressing room. Look at Lampard under Mourinho, you had Drogba, Terry, even more recently Manchester City, you had Fernandinho, players like that who you knew Kevin when their backs were against the wall, they would get it done. Do you see that in this Arsenal team? Do they have those kind of leaders?
Do you know what? I think they do, but I think they have leaders. I don't think they have those type of leaders because I don't think those type of leaders are in the game anymore.
OK.
So I think they have the new version of what leaders look like. Your Gabriels, your Salibas, Raya to an extent, Declan Rice. You talk about top players who know what it's like and probably going to be captains for their national teams moving forward. Jurriën Timber at right back as well. He's been a big miss. No one's really talking about that. Like, he's gone out, and that whole back line just looks a little bit weaker, and that whole right side's just stopped in terms of the attacking prowess as well. But I think now every single one of them would have to say there's a nervous energy. There is. They're humans. They've gone from being clear favourites, quadruple 3 weeks ago, to, hey, do you think we'll win anything? That's the kind of conversation that'll be happening now. And you could, and also you as a player, you can front it up like, oh, we'll be okay, on to the next one. But when you drive home and you listen to the radio and you're getting all the things come through on Instagram, you're getting this come through on socials.
I was going to say, you're clicking on YouTube and watching
you're getting all of this. It plays a little bit in the back of your mind because you might act like you don't hear it, but they hear everything.
And by the way, and I'm going to just address the elephant in the room, and I think Troy's hit on a little bit, is what happens now, because I don't even think we've actually even thought this, but like, what happens now if they don't win the Premier League? What happens if they don't win the Champions League or the Premier League? We're talking about quadruple a month ago, and now all of a sudden, what about? I think the chasers in the Premier League, I think they have their own issues. I think Man City is not the most powerful Man City that we saw from years ago. So that's been the benefit of the doubt for Arsenal. But imagine they bottle this. If they bottle this, heads have to fly, right?
Yeah.
Like, or what? Because you have to change something, right? I'm not saying it's Arteta, but I'm just saying. Then
how do you keep the players?
If you're an Arsenal fan, how do you continue to? How can you accept that?
But also, how do you keep the players? That everyone keeps saying this, and again, Cos isn't here at the moment. He's away on paternity leave, and congrats to him and his family again and the baby. But he kept saying to us, "Oh, they're all young. They've all signed long-term contracts. Yeah, but they all want to win." So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these big contracts that they've got, okay, we might have to move on. There's also financial fair play. There's all these play. So how many of these players, like a Saliba, does he go, I've had my time. Real Madrid looks nice.
And as we saw from the table there, you won't have won it in a relatively weak season. This isn't a season
one of the lowest
points.
of all time.
Exactly, it's one of the lowest of all time. We've had some comments in already. Arteta's already gone as far as some of the Arsenal fans are concerned. He's back home in Spain. They're talking about Fabregas. They need their mentality back. Some of the potential managers that could come in. But the thing is, when you look at Arsenal, is it a manager problem? Is it Arteta's issue, or is it something as a club?
Please just read this. I'm about to throw myself off this
Please, what
desk.
are your thoughts on Arteta and him always playing Rice and Zubimendi, leaving players like Norgard on the bench? But I think that points to the question I'm asking. Is this an Arteta problem, or is this an Arsenal problem?
There's an Arsenal fan out there that thinks the reason they're not winning is because Norgard.
He was good at Brentford.
He was good at where?
Very good at Brentford.
At Brentford. At Brentford. Oh.
But I think this tells you a little bit what the Arsenal fan base is in right now.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
We got, 5 comments? I'm sure we got more in the back, but we show 5 comments, and they're all, it's just like, maybe it's that, maybe it's this, maybe it's Zubimendi, maybe it's Arteta, maybe it's like, the panic is so real that I'm not an Arsenal fan. I respect everything that they do.
They're calling for a holding midfield.
But I can feel the panic from where I sit of the Arsenal fan. I saw the panic at the Carabao Cup at Wembley. As soon as Man City scored, they turned into mannequins, which I've never seen.
I thought they were ghosts because they were all gone. They're all gone.
He was there going, waving at them and everything. But as soon as Man City scored in that game, they just went like, like the shell shock. The pressure is so real, and I think it makes our game really special and really beautiful. But it's going to be unbelievable close to the season.
Especially, and I can't imagine that many City fans are sitting here watching this, but they'll look at that and think we've got them bothered, haven't they? They've got the entire fan base not with any clue what's going wrong.
You know what? In all seriousness, we both asked Nico Riley and Pep Guardiola, do you smell blood? Do you smell blood in the water at the Carabao Cup final? Both of them said yes. Yes. Nico was like, yes.
I mean, the sea is red at the moment.
But he also said, yes, we're Man City. We're always under pressure. We expect to chase people down. The way he said it wasn't arrogant, wasn't this like false confidence. It was like, no, this is the standard here. And I think that's the difference between coming from Man City in the last 5 to 10 years of a team that's expected to win, had great players, had great pressure. I also seen great players leave the building, where Arsenal are trying to build this over the last 4 or 5 years. And now they're getting at that final moment of, can you get over the line? there's a nervous energy there where everyone at City's like, oh no, we've done this before. We've won the last 10 games out. We've done that. We've come from being, no one's thinking we're going to do anything to, oh, by the way, they've won it again. Now how are you going to stop us? They seem to grow and they run towards the fire in this moment. When you look at Arsenal, it's a little bit like they don't know whether to run to the fire or run and go and get a fire hose. They don't know what to do. They're in between. But hey, what will fix it? Put Norgard in.
He'll sort you out. He did a job for Brentford. Why,
but also, do you know what? This
not?
season, the way this season's going, would you expect? I would be surprised if Chelsea they go and win tomorrow.
I'm actually genuinely surprised how many comments we've got coming in saying that Arteta needs to be sacked. Arteta must go. If he couldn't win the league, at least we've been enjoying the way they were playing. I was hoping the team DNA will be restored after winning a title.
Just go and get Wenger back. Let's get Wenger back. Finish in the top 4.
They even want Ange back. Replace Mikel with Ange. Ange Ball gets trophies. He might just do it. Norgard and Ange Postecoglou. That's what you needed all along.
Honestly.
If you were to sit here right now, as we look ahead to Manchester City's game against Chelsea, who are your favourites to win the title? Do you have it City or is it still Arsenal?
Now?
Right now.
I have it City. I thought maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, I just thought you just had that feeling of Arsenal would just grind it out.
There was enough of a gap, wasn't there?
Yeah, but I think even if City won out, I just thought Arsenal wouldn't drop points against any of the lesser teams, should we say. Excuse me. Now, all in City's hands, coming up against a Chelsea team that we don't know. We don't know what this Chelsea team is, but when you just look specifically to City, they've won the Carabao Cup. They've already got one trophy in their back pocket. They're going through in the semi-final of the FA Cup, feel like they're going to have a nice little run towards the final. They've got no Champions League, just one less midweek game to play. It just feels like their full focus and attention will be like, right, deal with Chelsea. Their front line has all of a sudden started to click. Ryan Cherki, they're just giving him the keys to the castle. Go and make happen. Semenyo, fantastic. Haaland scored a hat-trick not too long ago. It just feels like the momentum is shifting in their favour, whereas Arsenal are getting tight, as Grella said, moving it a bit more to the safety dial. Man City are going, well, there's no pressure on us. Let's just go and score. We know we're not going to keep clean sheets, but let's just go and score. And I just feel that for everyone talking about how great Arsenal is, just look how young this Man City team is. And it's got holes in it, very much like you said. But their confidence, their ability now to be fit at the right time. Remember, Pep Guardiola said after the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, when we spoke to him, was that everyone will be back fit by the final. He's now got John Stones on the bench. He's now got players of quality and been there, done that. They might go, all right, we're 1-0 up against Chelsea. Let me put John Stones in because he knows what he's doing. He gets us through this. I just think it's all in City's favour now. Sorry, long-winded way to say I think City get it.
Bro, you agree? City? Advantage City now?
No, I think that the gap is too big, and I think that Man City have their own issues. I agree with everything you said about the attacking players. I think they're a fantastic team. They play some good stuff on their day. Obviously, they smoked Liverpool the other day. Defensively, they get beat by 1 ball, 2 balls. That's where my worry is. They still have to win the next 2 games. Then they have to beat Arsenal as well. So that's going to be difficult. I think, this comment here, slow, toothless, poor passing, is the thing that even if Arsenal go on and win the Premier League is they have to find a way to play a little bit better football, and they have to be harder to play against. I think right now teams play against them and they're not put in a difficult game.
If
they don't create a lot of chances.
If they do win, do you see them a little bit like Rory at the Masters? So how many years have we seen Rory at the Masters struggling, but then he's won last year, and this year, he's just flying. Could that happen with Arsenal?
Very possible. Yeah. Very possible, because this one is just like the tightness is like from getting there, getting over this hump and leading it into this new direction. And that's why they're so tight. Maybe when they win one, they'll move forward. But for sure, I think you can drop points, you can have a bad season, but you have to put teams in a difficult game. Teams have to leave the field when they play against you if you want to be one of the world's best. Yeah. They want to be one of the world's best, right? Teams have to leave the field that they're playing against you, especially at your place, going, wow. Yeah. Wow. They are so good in every department. And I think they leave the field there. I think Bournemouth leaves and says, they got lucky that they even got that penalty goal. It was a little bit of a fluky chance. Yeah. And I think they were better than them over the course of 90 minutes. And so if you want to be one of the world's best, I don't think many teams go to the camp now and say, oh, they were easy to play against. I don't think many teams go to the Bernabeu and say that. I don't think many teams go to Bayern Munich Stadium and leave there and say, wow, that was not bad. A lot of teams leave there and say, we're not even close. They're playing a different sport.
We'll have to wait.
You don't feel that against Arsenal.
We'll have to wait and see between now and the end of the season. Troy, there is an element of hate to say I told you so, because this is what you said on our air earlier on this season.
How many do you think they'll win?
I could make an argument they don't win any.
Then make the argument then.
Okay, I think City can beat them. Man City win this one, breaks the spirit, right? Can they go out in the FA Cup? Of course they can, because they're concentrating on the Champions League. Do you think they're the best team in the Champions League right now?
No.
There you go. So there's an opportunity for PSG to be better, for Bayern to be better on those days. So they could lose that. If you start to lose those games, you lose Declan Rice to injury. They can lose the title.
They win 2 trophies. They win the Carabao Cup and they win the Premier League.
I honestly don't know what they will win, if I'm honest. I'm with Troy.
Not doing that. He's just hammered me. No. Don't sit on the fence. It comes to him. Oh, I don't know what they could win.
I don't.
Nigel jumping on the bandwagon as always there. If there's any Arsenal fans left watching this, I think that's probably tipped them over the edge. But you called it.
I said it could happen. Again, wasn't getting too high. Grella, you thought they were going to win 2. I think I actually said I think they'll win 1 or 2 at the start of that. But then we had to ask the question whether they could do it. And I think everything that I said there has played out. So not that I'm right all the time, but I'm right about Arsenal all the time.
Great stuff, guys. It's been wonderful.
Arsenal, they got to win. They have to win this because he's enjoying himself too much now.
Can you imagine if they win, when they win, like how much negativity is going to come on to me? I've got a pile on at this moment in time. Arsenal fans that are still left, get some sleep. It's going to be a long week.
I was going to say,
I'm going to be here. Don't you worry.
I've got a feeling we're going to be doing another one of these after that last day of the season, potentially talking about Arsenal blowing it. We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon here on Golazo Network.